Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is November 4th, 2022. It's on Friday, and it's sunny outside. So it's a good idea to try foot on outside today. The decrease in the birth rate is becoming more serious in Japan. The decrease in the number of workload, the number of workers, is also becoming a serious problem. The border measures contributed to the decrease in the number of tourists drastically. The border measures and the state of emergency heavily contributed to the decrease in the number of tourists. The lift of the border measures contributed to the increase in tourists. The lift of the border measures heavily contributed to the increase in the number of tourists. The state of emergency contributed to the decrease in the number of tourists. The state of emergency contributed to the decrease in the number of tourists. With the development of new technologies, the number of it is obvious the decrease in the number of those buying CDs. With the advancement of new technologies, the decrease in those buying CDs is obvious. The border measures heavily contributed to the decrease in the number of tourists. The lift of the border measures heavily contributed to the increase in the number of tourists. Some people or many people will not take action until they are satisfied that they have enough skill to start something. Some people or many people do not take an action until they are satisfied that they have enough skills to do that, to start something. Many people do not take an action until they are satisfied that they have enough skills to start. Many people do not take an action or challenge until they are satisfied with they have enough skill to start with. Many people do not take an action or challenge until they are satisfied that they have enough skill to start with. I tried after listening to the lecture, I try to take an action before before I am prepared. If I wait for my skills to be perpetuated, the chance won't come. I might die before challenging. So I try to challenge new things before I get master at it. Many people do not take an action until they are satisfied that they have enough skills to start with. Many people do not take an action or a challenge until they are satisfied that they have enough skills to start with. I have both short-term and long-term plans. I have both long-term and short-term plans. I first set a short-term plan, which is connected to the long-term plan in the end. I first set a short-term plan, and again short-term plans, which are connected to the long-term plans in the future. Repetition will help you to memorize something in the long term. Repetition will help you to memorize something for a long time. Repetition will help you to memorize. Repetition will help you memorize. You remain as beautiful as ever. You remain as funny as ever. The teacher remains strong. I try not to be negative, but I recently getting pessimistic. Though I shouldn't be. Negative tense looks more complicated, looks more confusing, looks more intricate than positive tense. Have you got infected with the virus? Have you had the test? Have you had the PCR test? Yes, I've got negative result. If the even 10 or 20 yen increases in the products, the consumer might refrain from buying them. Even with 10 or 20 yen increases in the products, the consumers might refrain from buying them. Consumers might stop buying with 10 or 20 yen price increases. The restaurant is well thought about consumers' demands. The restaurant is well thinking about consumers' demand. The restaurant is well thinking of the consumer's demand. Some people claim to abolish consumption tax. Some people claim to do away with consumption tax. I try to have more confidence to challenge new things. We should have more confidence to challenge new things. Without challenging, we cannot be successful. Thanks to challenging something new, we can grow and succeed or fail. Without challenging, we might not fail nor succeed. Do you have a lot of confidence? Some people have a lot of confidence to challenge, while others don't. Sticking to one thing for a long time will lead to confidence, reliance, trust. Sticking with what we have decided for a long time will lead to trust, reliance, confidence. What made you become an investor? What made you want to 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 become an investor? When did you start to become an investor? When did you start to want to become an investor? When did you start to want to become an investor? When did you start to want to become an investor? Are you familiar with economic things? Are you familiar with economic movement? Are you familiar with economic system? His room was packed with economic books. Have you had experience of stock trading? Do you have some stocks of the company? Have you traded stocks in the stock market? Have you traded stocks? Have you traded stocks? Do you have an account in the stock market? Have you got the account? Have you got an account? Have you got an account? Have you got an account of stock exchange? Have you got an account? Have you got an account of a stock exchange? Stock exchange. Have you got an account of a stock exchange? Have you got an account of stock exchange? Stock exchange. 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 I was surprised at the amount of the stock of the sweets and snacks in her refrigerator. I was surprised at the amount of the stocks of snacks and sweets in the fridge. I think more and more people are trying to have much stocks in case of emergency after the pandemic. We can learn from the lessons. I think more and more people trying to have enough stocks in case of emergency. I think more and more people try to have enough stocks of necessities or food and drinks such as food and drinks in case of emergency. I think more and more people are trying to have enough stocks of necessities such as toilet papers, food, preserved food, drinks, and so on in case of emergency. In case of emergency. Which stock do you think I should buy? How do you predict which stocks will go up or go down? Can you predict which stocks will go up or go down? Is it possible to predict which stocks will go up or drop? Is it possible to predict which stocks will go up or go down? How do you predict which stocks will go up or go down? How do you predict which stocks will go up or go down? How do you predict which stocks will go up or go down? How do you predict which stocks will go up or go down? Which stock do you predict will go down or go up? Do you have an account of stock exchange? Stock exchange. 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 I think more and more people are trying to have enough stocks of necessities such as preserved food and drinks in case of emergency after the pandemic. The factory it's producing more products in case of high demands in the next year. The factory is producing more products. The factory is producing twice or three times as many as last year in case of high demands in the next year. So they want to, the general manager of the factory wants to have enough stocks in case of in preparation for the next high demands in the next year. For the preparation, in preparation for high demand in the next year. Do you have an account of stock exchange? Stock exchange. Do you have an account? Do you have an account of stock exchange? Yes, I've got an account of stock exchange. Yes, I've got an account of stock exchange. Yes, I have got an account of stock exchange. I've got an account of stock exchange. Yes, I've got an account of stock exchange. Yes, I have an account. I have an account of stock exchange. Yes, I have an account of stock exchange. Stock exchange. Which stock exchange do you recommend I should open? Which stock exchange do you recommend that I create? Which stock exchange do you recommend I create? Which stock exchange do you recommend I create? Which stock exchange do you recommend that I make an account? Which stock exchange do you recommend that I should make the account of? Stock exchange. Which stock exchange do you think I should make an account of? Stock exchange. Stock exchange. Are you interested in stock market? Are you interested in stock market? Stock market can be unexpected. Excuse me, I'd like to know if the merchandise in stock or not. I'd like to know whether the merchandise in stock or not. Excuse me, is this merchandise in stock? Excuse me, is this merchandise in stock? Excuse me, is this t-shirt with blue color in stock? Excuse me, is the large size of this t-shirt in stock? Excuse me, is this t-shirt with large size in stock? I'd like to know whether the large size of this t-shirt in stock, large size of this shirt in stock. Excuse me, is the large size of this t-shirt in stock? Excuse me, is the large size of this t-shirt in stock or out of stock? I'm sorry, the large size of this t-shirt is out of stock. I'm sorry, but the large size of this t-shirt is out of stock now. But we have small and middle size. Coming in every color we can available. Yes. Excuse me, is the middle size of this t-shirt in stock? I'm sorry, it is out of stock now. But you can reserve the t-shirt today and we will notify you of the shipment as soon as we get notified, as soon as we get updated. The birds tend to stock many small branches or leaves in a small surrounded place. What are you stocking? We tend to stock a certain money in case of emergency. I usually stock a week amount of food and drinks at once to reduce the number of shopping. I usually stock 1 or 2 weeks amount of food and drinks at once at the one shopping to reduce the number of shopping. To reduce the number of shopping. I usually stock 1 week or 2 weeks amount of 1 week or 2 week amount of food and drinks at one shopping to reduce the number of shopping. Do you do the same thing? No one can predict the stock market perfectly. It will move unexpectedly sometimes or frequently. I'm not familiar with stock market, so I cannot say though, but it sometimes skyrocket sharply or drop sharply. During the stock arrangement, the factory has been suspended. During the stock calculation, the factory will be closed for 2 or 3 days. Some investors read a large number of stock books before starting their investment. Some successful investors read a great number of stock books before starting the investment. Some successful investors read a large number of stock books before starting their investment. Some successful investors read a large number of stock books before starting their investment. Stock check. The employee is checking the stock in the storehouse. Thanks to the high demand for the product, the stock space has been wider, vacant. With more orders of the products, the stock space will be enlarged. The executives of the company is discussing enlarging the stock space with more demands. I usually stock 1 or 2 week amount of food and drinks at once shopping to reduce the number of shopping. I usually stock 1 week or 2 week of amount of food and drinks at once. We usually stock enough food and drinks before typhoon arrives. During the typhoon, we cannot go out, so we usually stock enough food and drinks before typhoon arrives as a preparation. What are you stocking? We tend to stock money before the retirement because it might be difficult to live on pension. We are inclined to stock money before retirement. We are up to earn money. We are up to stock some certain of money before retirement. The retailer stocks some fish from the wholesaler. The retailers stock some food and amenities from the wholesaler. Many citizens rush to stock toilet papers after the oil shock. Many citizens rushed to stock toilet papers after the oil shock. According to the information, many citizens rushed to buy and stock toilet papers after the oil shock. I'd like to stock enough money before retirement. My purpose in this year is to stock enough stamina to withstand night shift. My purpose is to stay late at night, is to stock the energy to work at night. How could you stock such amount of money? I wish I could stock as much money as you. I wish I could stock as much money as billionaire. I wish I could stock as much money as billionaire. If only I could stock as much money as billionaire. If only I could stock as much money as the billionaire. How could you stock such amount of money, such huge money, so huge money? How could you build up such amount of money? How could you stock such amount of money? I'm eager to stock as much money as billionaire. I wish I could stock as much money as billionaire. I usually stock up on knowledge by repetition. I'm good at repeating, doing the same activity again and over again. Time and time again, over and over again, time and time again, time and again. I'm good at repeating the same things over and over again, time and time again. Over and over again, time and time again. I usually stock up on knowledge by repetition, by repeating the same things over and over again. I usually stock up on knowledge by repeating the same things over and over again. I usually stock up on knowledge by reading the same textbooks over and over again, time and time again. I usually stock up on 1 or 2 week amount of food and drinks beforehand at once shopping to reduce the burden of shopping over and over again. I usually stock up on 1 or 2 week amount of food and drinks at once shopping to reduce the number of shopping. Shopping every day is tough, tiring. We usually stock up on food and drinks and other necessities before typhoon arrives. It is, of course, common sense in Japan. I'd like to stock up on enough money before retiring. I'd like to stock up on as much money as the billionaire. How can I stock up on such amount of money? Is it possible for me to earn with YouTube videos? Is it possible? I wish I could stock up on such amount of money as the billionaire. I wish I could stock up on such amount of money as a billionaire. If only I could stock up on much money, the same amount of money as a billionaire. I wish I could stock up on the same amount of money as billionaire. I usually stock up on knowledge by repeating the same things over and over again. I usually stock up on knowledge by repeating the same textbooks, by reading the same textbooks over and over again, time and time again. We can stock up on stamina with practice. We can stock up on knowledge by studying. We can stock up on popularity through social networking service. Are you a stockholder of the company? What benefits can I get if I become a stockholder of the company? What benefit can I get if I become a stockholder of the company? What benefit can I get if I become a stockholder of the company? What benefit can I get if I become the stockholder of the company? Stockholder, 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 stockholder. I watched the tiger jumping so high. I saw the tiger jumping so high. I saw the tiger leaping so high. I saw the cat leaping over the fence easily. I saw the cat jumping over the fence so easily. I saw the cat leaping over the fence so easily. The commodity prices are leaping. The commodity prices are leaping. The stock prices can leap too. The stock prices can leap or drop. The stock prices can leap or drop, so please be careful. The stock prices can leap or drop. Thanks to the social networking service, everyone can have the chance to get the popularity. Thanks to the social networking service, everyone has the chance to become popular. Thanks to the social networking service, the popularity of the YouTuber leaped. Your popularity might leap. We cannot know what will happen in the future. There is no telling what will happen in the future. Someone may notice your talent, and your popularity might leap so high suddenly. So you should challenge. Leap. Leap. The commodity prices leaping. The commodity prices are leaping. The commodity prices are leaping. Leap. 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 The commodity prices are leaping. 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 Leap. When I was an elementary school student, I liked to leap many obstacles. I mean, the physical obstacles such as blocks, fence, and so on. When I was an elementary school student, I liked leaping many obstacles. I mean physical obstacles such as fences, blocks, and so on as a challenge to check to see if I could. When I was an elementary school student, I liked to leap obstacles, physical obstacles such as river, blocks, fences, and so on. I saw the cat leaping the fence. I saw a cat leaping the fence. Some animals, like cat, dog, can leap the fence so smoothly. I was very bad at hurdle run because I was very bad at leaping the hurdle. Because I was very bad at leaping the hurdle. Although I was good at 50-meter run without obstacles. I believed many difficulties. We believed many difficulties. That's why we become strong. We become strong. Stronger. We become stronger. We have become stronger. We have become stronger. We've become stronger. We've become stronger. We've got through many difficulties. Got over many difficulties. Overcome difficulties. I've lived many difficulties. Hindrance. Predicament. Hardships. I've lived many hardships, predicaments, problems, troubles, depressions. Do you think I can leap the fence? Do you think I can leap the challenge? I saw a cat leaping the fence. I saw a cat leaping the fence. The fence was not high enough to prevent the cat leaping the fence. The height of the fence was not high enough to prevent the cat from leaping. The height of the fence was not high enough to prevent the cat of leaping. The height of the fence was not high enough to prevent the cat from leaping. The height of the fence was not high enough to prevent the puppy from leaping. The height of the fence and the surroundings were not high enough to prevent the puppy from leaping. The puppy leaped the fence and came to me. The puppy grew up enough to leap the fence. The puppy grew up enough to leap the fence. The puppy grew up enough to leap the fence. The puppy grew up enough to leap the fence. The height of the leap by cheetah is so high. The height of the leap of the athlete is so high. I cannot reach the height by jumping. My bad habit is the leap in conversation. I sometimes or often change the topic. So I'd like to change the bad habit. A leap in topic. A leap in topic. I tend to change the topic. So I'd like to treat my bad habit of changing topics suddenly. A heap in logic. A heap in logic is happening in many fields. Taking the advanced course for the first time might be a leap in logic. Taking the advanced course without the beginner's course for the first time. Taking the advanced course for the first time will be a leap in logic. Leap. The leap in the level of his playing the piano surprised everyone. Leap in education. Leap in logic. 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 A 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 leap in logic. Leap in logic. A leap in logic. A leap in logic. A leap in logic. A leap in class. A leap in grade is accepted for a certain students. A leap in grade might be allowed for a certain students. A leap in logic. A leap in logic. Leap. 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 A leap in logic, a leap in logic, a leap in logic. I try not to have a leap in topics. I try to avoid leap in the topics. I try to avoid the leap in the topic. I try to avoid the leap in the topics. I try to avoid the leap in the topics. I try to avoid the leap of the topics. I try to avoid the leap of the topics. I try to avoid the leap in the topics. I try to avoid the leap in the topics. I try to avoid the leap in the topics. I try to avoid the leap in the topics. I try to avoid the leap in the topics. I try to avoid the leap in the topics. Leap. Do you think I can be an ambassador? Do you think I can be an ambassador in the future? Yes, every employee has a opportunity to become an ambassador. It depends on your effort and luck. The Japanese ambassador to the US, the Japanese ambassador to the UK, ambassador, sightseeing ambassador, tourist ambassador, tourism ambassador, tourism ambassador, 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 ambassador. Ambassador, 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 ambassador. The Japanese ambassador to the US, the Japanese ambassador to the US. The Japanese ambassador to the US. According to the weather forecast, it will be sunny over the next weekend. Over a week. For a week. According to the weather forecast, it will be sunny for a week. Do you believe in the forecast made by the forecaster? There are many kinds of forecasts. Do you believe in that? I think most of the cases the forecast will fail. It's nothing other than a forecast. It's none other than a forecast. They are none other than forecast. They are nothing other than forecast. Nothing other than forecast. You are anything but stupid. You are anything but stupid. You are far from stupid. You are by no means stupid. Forecaster, 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 forecaster. There are many kinds of forecasters. There are many kinds of forecasters. There are many kinds of forecasters. The forecaster predict the money lag for you. The forecaster can foretell the money lag for you, for the customers. The forecaster can foretell the money lag for the customer. Forecaster. Forecaster. There are many kinds of forecasters out there. The forecaster can foretell the money lag for you. Forecaster. I have a slight fever today. You still have a slight possibility. If you still have the slight possibility, never give up. Unless you have a slight possibility, never give up. I came down with a slight fever last week. I came down with a slight cold last week. I came down with a slight fever last week. I came down with a slight cold last week. I came down with a slight fever, cold last week. I don't even want to come down with a slight cold. So I have to care for myself. I have to take care of myself. I have to sit myself. A slight sparkles can ignite the fire. Slight sparkles can set in the fire. Even slight sparkle can ignite the object. Even slight sparkles can ignite the object. So please make sure all of the contents outlets are out of the flammable items. Except for slight mistakes in the examination, your score left nothing to be desired. Your score left nothing to be desired. Some young people will go to Tokyo with slight possibility, slight hope. If you even have a slight hope, please never give up. Some young people go to Tokyo in hopes of succeeding in their dreams with slight hope. Some young people go to Tokyo with slight hope. Some young people go to Tokyo with slight hope in hopes of their success. I don't want to get even a minor cold, slight cold. I don't even want to come down with a slight cold. I don't even want to come down with a slight cold. I don't even want to come down with a slight cold. A slight cold, a slight cold, a slight fever, a slight symptoms. Thanks to the vaccination, my symptoms was slight. Thanks to the vaccination, my symptoms was slight. Thanks to the vaccination, the symptom of the flu was slight. A slight cold, 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 slight, a slight cold, a slight cold, slight. The slight of the procedure might lead you to the accident. The slight of studying will make you suffer later in the life. The slight of reading the directions and instructions might cause the accident. The slight of reading the instructions might cause you accident. The slight of reading the instructions make you have the mistake. The slight of your health, the slight of taking care of your health, might make you pay the cost later. The slight of taking care of your health may make you pay the cost later. Slight, a slight cold, slight, 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 slight. Slight. The slight of taking care of your health will make you pay the cost in the later. So please take care of health. Nothing is more important than health. Nothing as important as health. Health is more important than any other thing. No other things are as important as health. No other things are important than health. Hmm. His, his slide of adherence with the rule was obvious from his behavior. My slide of studying is costing me a lot. I'm suffering a lot now. So, to make up for my lack of studying, I have to study now. The slide of studying in the past when I was a student is costing me a lot. Making me pay the cost now. So I should have studied harder. Please do not make light of studying. Please do not make light of studying. Please do not make light of your health. Please do not make light of your health. Please do not make light of your health. Please do not make sight of your health. The employee's side the employee's slide of obeying the rule was obvious from his behavior. Please do not slight your health. 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 I used to slight my studying when I was a student, so which making me pay the cost now. Which making me suffer now to make up for the lack short. Some people might slight the importance of English study. Some people might slight the importance of the health. It won't until we break our health that we might know the importance of our health. It won't be until we break our health that we know the importance of our health. It might not be until we lose our health that we know the importance of our health. It won't be until we lose or break our health that we know the importance of our health. It won't be until we lose or break our health that we know the importance of our health. Some people slight their health. Some people slight their health. Please do not slight your 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 health. The student kept slighting the advice from his parents and teachers, ended up making the mistake. The student kept slighting the advice from the teacher and parent, ending in making the mistake. The student kept slighting the advice from the teacher and parent, and failed in the examination. The student kept slighting the advice from the teacher and parent, ended in failing the examination. The university student slighted the studying and was obliged to take the same year again. Please do not slight your health. Please do not slight your health. My skill improved slightly. The economy is recovering slightly. The number of foreign tourists has been increasing slightly after the lift of the border measures. The number of tourists is increasing slightly, slightly. How can you make up for the mistake? The school had to make up for the cancellation due to the typhoon. So the classes were held on Saturdays. I have to make up for my lack of experience by doing my effort. I have to make up for my lack of experiences by doing twice or three times as much as other employees. I have to make up for my lack of experiences by doing twice or three times as much effort as others. The company made up for the inconvenience to the customers by giving the coupon. The company made up for the inconvenience to the customers by giving the coupons. The company compensated for the delay of the vehicle of the public transportation by giving coupons to the passengers. The sharp drop of the stock market made many investors surprised. The sudden drop of the market can happen. There is no telling what will happen in the future. There is no telling which stock prices will go up or down. The sudden sharp drop of the stock price took many investors by surprise. I usually add a drop of pepper into the ramen soup, in the ramen. Do you also add a drop of pepper in ramen? Do you also add a drop of sugar? No, a drop of pepper and salt into the ramen. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you!